It's 12 noon. I guess Harold Channer's not out there. But today I'm going to be making... Oh. Hello?
I is here.
Oh, great. You might want to turn down that
I turned
speaker
down the
thing.
speaker now. I was just rushing getting coffee. So it was something Webster giving that, that thing on your program. You watch that on your computer as your program's airing at MNN,
Yes.
is that correct?
Yes, but you know what? Today, last night I talked to Gizella Weisshaus.
Oh, good. Hold a second. I got to go. Just one.
No, because I'm going to be calling.
Just
Because I'm going to be making a call to Gizella Weisshaus. She's...
Yes, sorry.
Oh, today what I'm going to do is call Gizella Weisshaus. She's
Good.
expecting my call at 12 noon. So just stand by and maybe we can talk later, unless it takes too long.
Hey, whatever you say, dear, you're going to talk to her. That's great. You want me to hang up then and free up your line? And
I have
with Gizella, or do you want me to hold on?
I think she's going to have a lot to say. I told her just to wait until tomorrow, until now, to tell her story.
Okay, so you want me to? I'll do whatever you want.
Yeah,
You're
why
doing
don't you?
great.
Why don't you hang up and I'll call her back.
I'll hang up, and then if you want to get in touch, I'm here watching.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Give her my love. She's
I
beautiful.
sure will.
And tell her to get some more of that cake, or we can get some of those cakes. Okay.
Right.
I'm going to hang up. Bye.
Okay. Bye. Okay. What I want to do is make it... If any of you are going to have any questions about this, then email me, because I'm going to be calling a Holocaust survivor right now, a survivor of Auschwitz. So if you have any comments that I should pass on, I want to tie up the line so that she can really concentrate. And email me at rabbitholecentral@earthlink.net. And let's see if I can... Hello, Gizelle. Is this Mrs. Weisshaus?
Yes.
Wonderful. You're now being recorded on Farther Down the Rabbit Hole, which is my television show on Manhattan Neighborhood Network.
Yes.
And I got to see several times the interview that you did with Harold Channer.
Oh, yes?
On his show. So it's an amazing, horrible experience that you've been through.
Yes.
And I thought maybe you could tell us your story.
I'm going to tell you the story. And we met last week about Mr. Channis when he had the producers there.
Right.
Yeah. So I didn't know that. You know this because you told me you contacted my grandson.
Yes, he contacted me.
Yeah.
And then he actually came over just 2 days ago.
Yeah?
And he said that you have, slightly different viewpoints. You're very concerned about your personal situation, which is awful with the Swiss banks.
Yeah.
But he's looking for an outcome more for globally.
Yeah.
And I know that it's been very difficult for the Hasidic community. All great people have to have a struggle even within their own society. I know that.
I think what they did to me, they didn't do to nobody else.
Really?
Because I was the first plaintiff in the Swiss case, and I started to tell them that they're stealing our money. So they looked for a way to shut me up. So they took away first a house for me, a factory, and now I find out in January that my lawyer who made the Swiss case, beforehand he stole my escrow account together with my cousins.
Wow.
$82,500. And they have a recommendation he should be disbarred in New Jersey. That came down now January 30th. But they don't want to accept it here in New York. They keep him quiet and they let him file lawsuits in New York. Because if that comes out,
Why do you think he's doing this to you?
Why he's doing it? Because the other people went in, and I mean, when I filed the lawsuit, it became a very big thing. Nobody thought about this. And it's just how it came along, you wouldn't believe it. And he was lying for the press later on. But a lot of lawyers came into the case, and they had, they just wanted to get rid of me because I was too honest for them. And it's a whole scam. And what really I'm looking, even my grandson, I mean, he is young, he thinks differently. I'm looking for a few people who are, to make a committee or something, who are interested what's happening here in this country with the judiciary.
Right.
I'm going to produce only the documents, and they should decide on the documents. You believe this? When after I fired the lawyer, he went and he made a settlement in my name.
Really?
Yes.
Did you give him the power of attorney so that he could do that?
No, nothing.
No. Wow.
No, nothing. I'm telling you. I wrote to the George a letter in February that he's not representing me anymore, and I'm looking for other representation. In May 6th, I wrote to the disciplinary committee and telling them that he's not representing, and I told them why, because he stole my money and other improper things he did.
Right.
And he goes, the 18th of August 12th, 98, he makes a settlement in my name, and other lawyers too, who I never hired.
Right, right.
So the settlement was just for them, because they wanted to grab the money, and all of them got paid millions of dollars. And when I opted out from that settlement, and I mean, you wouldn't believe it, what kind of documents I have. When I opted out, so they were looking for a way of getting rid of me. So they made so many false documents in the court, and besides this, I'm telling you, they took my properties away, because it was before the St. George, and some of the properties were, he was a lawyer for me in the beginning, even before the Swiss case.
What should I call you, Mrs. Weisshaus?
You could call me Gizella, you could
Okay.
anyway.
Gizella, how many other survivors of Auschwitz are treated in the way you're being treated?
I'm telling you, there is many survivors.
Treated in the way you're being treated.
I'm telling you, there is many survivors who are very angry, but none of them lost private property.
None of them lost private property.
No, I had a factory here. I was working in one place 25 years and I wanted this for my children. They destroyed it. And you know, I'm involved now, and I want to expose what's going on with the mortgage crisis. This didn't start now. This is going on for a long time.
How long has it been going on?
For the mortgage, in my case, I would give you documentation at least 15 years ago.
Okay, now here's a question I'm having for you, Gizella. When I spoke to your grandson, he came into my apartment and he has, he's Hasidic. He's dressed with in a very orthodox way.
I'm too.
Yes, right. Now, what I found very fascinating was he is very free in his thinking. I thought all the Hasidics are thinking in the same way, but I found that he's independent in his thinking. And he told me that this lawsuit that you're going through has made it difficult for your family in relationship to the entire community, that you're not being supported, and people... I know myself, Gizella, oftentimes when we try to help difficult situations, it's like we get the unpleasantness of those situations on our hands, and other people don't even want to think about it. They want to say,
Yes.
Paula, forget the homeless, it's not your problem, take care of your own affairs.
Yes.
And so I'm wondering, what is it like for you in the Hasidic community that you would think would all come together and throw off these bankers or whoever, the lawyers, whoever is stealing from you. Yes. Who is helping you? That's my question. Who helps you?
Who helps me? Nobody. Oh, I should see. I tell you, I did some help. I'm on a very good relationship, and I help them financially. There is a newspaper called the Black Star News.
Uh-huh.
And the editor, I'm very close with him, and you wouldn't even believe it. Now I have a reporter she's just graduating now from Columbia, and she's meeting my grandson too. Matter of fact, she met him last Thursday, and she told me what she uncovered. And they told me I should try to do something because she's going to be hurt now while she has to graduate. So I called up yesterday the Black Star News. He told me I shouldn't do anything. He's going to take care.
Well, you see, here's another thing I'm concerned about, Gizella. Right now, you had called me because you knew I was doing work with 9/11. Do you want to tell me what you were starting to tell me last night, and I asked if you would wait so I could make a recording of it?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm willing to do, and I'm telling you, I have a lot of documents, especially newspaper articles.
Okay.
At the end of the war, Eisenhower found gold bricks that came from the victims in Auschwitz. They were ready to be sent to Switzerland. So they established that time a three-party conference that was England, the United States, and France, and they divided the bricks between themselves. 2.5 tons of these bricks came here to the United States, and they were here for 50 years in the Federal Reserve Bank in the vault.
Now, 2.5 tons of gold, how much is that worth?
Well, according to the World Jewish Congress, it was worth $28 million, but originally it was worth more.
I see.
Yes. That gold disappeared. How did it disappear? Then there was a conference. I'm telling you, it was here in the late 90s. And there is articles in the newspapers about this gold. Now, in 97, I went to England. England had 4 tons of gold, the same thing. And I went to England. There was a conference, they called it the Nazi gold. They wouldn't let me into the conference.
Okay.
There is an article, it was in the Times, how they shut me out from the conference.
Now, why would they shut you out? You had documentation and proof about 2.5 tons of gold?
I didn't have work. They saw that I wouldn't go along with their lies.
I see.
Because I survived only because I was honest.
You survived because you were honest. I know that policy. Honesty is a very good policy. Now, you must come from a very good family of a lot of prominence that you would be feared in this way.
Well, I had a very good family, and my father was an honest person, but I was only 14.5 years to the Auschwitz, and I lost everybody. I survived myself.
Right, right.
And if I never looked to harm somebody or to take away something from somebody. And like this, I learned my children also, and I went through enough with honest people. I lost 2 sons not long ago.
I'm sorry.
One passed away about 8 years ago. The other one, it's not even 2 years yet.
Well, I must say, it's amazing how young you look. It's so hard to believe what you've been through when one looks at you. So you must be doing something very correct in your life.
I'm telling you, I think I'm doing what my parents would want me to do, and that's why they left me here. I should continue in their
Right.
way.
But now, Gizella, let me tell you something that's troubling on my heart. Right now, the economy is very bad, and I know somebody who works in the housing courts, and he's saying that there's so many people now that are faced with being thrown out of their houses, And there's a rising sentiment against the Hasidic community because many of the Hasidics are not trusting the stock market, and I think they're very smart not to trust the stock market, and they're putting their money into real estate. And as a result of this, of course they want to be able to get their investment, but when the money is so tight, it's hard for people to pay their rent. And then so what I'm saying now, it's a dangerous time in a way for anti-Semitic feelings to rise. And you know, when I was talking to your grandson, I sensed, even though he's young, that he's in that enthusiasm of youth. He wants to make everything better for everybody. Do you have any comments? Because you were only 14, but you must have had some feeling that your father was wealthy when many people around you were not wealthy.
Yes, I know, because I went to some neighbors, I had friends, and I know the difference how they lived. They're making my floor upstairs, so that's why you were
that's okay.
knocking.
Yeah, it's okay. We can handle that.
Yeah. So all right, listen. Let me tell you why I'm fighting now. And I mean, I'm spending my money. I'm spending the money. I don't have money like this.
No, Gizella, before we go on this topic, go off, you can call in as much as you want. I'm a good friend of Dean Lauren, and, you know, we can keep developing this. But I just want to see if we can create a connection of empathy between you and the Hasidic community in Brooklyn so that we can sympathize that some people might be frightened that your work might be hurting anti-Semitic feelings. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something that nobody else has. So I told you they wouldn't let me in England. Then they made a Nazi conference in the State Department, and they wouldn't let me in there either. So not only this, they tried to arrest me there, and I have everything from the newspaper and from documents, written down. Because they took out this money. And that money, they told me when the 9/11, when the Twin Towers were bombed, I think in the Deutsche Bank, they found gold. And that gold was whisked away right away.
Okay.
And it was in the newspapers that time, but I didn't keep that newspaper. And we had a feeling this gold was came from the Federal Reserve Bank. So who was the one who released that gold? It's not official, but I have it for sure because I did some research. It was Stuart Eisenstadt. He was appointed by Clinton as the Holocaust person. And he released the money, and from that money she started to run for Senator Hillary.
Wow. So you're telling me that some of the money, the 2.5 tons of gold that came over from Germany went into the Federal Reserve,
yes,
went missing at the time of 9/11, somehow was used, you think, for Hillary Clinton?
Yes.
How can you make such a connection?
I'm going to tell you how.
Okay.
They made a dinner. Was it a dinner or a luncheon before she ran for election for a senator? It was in the Pier Hotel. She wouldn't let in the Holocaust survivors. I was demonstrating outside.
She would not let the Holocaust survivors in?
It was arranged by some Holocaust survivors, but they wouldn't let in the people. I have even two affidavits from two people. One is deceased already, that they wouldn't let him. He went in, and they told him if he doesn't go out, they're going to arrest him.
Right.
They didn't want to have people who they didn't trust. So then there was gold that they found. It was a gold train. I don't know if
Eisenhower found the gold train from Hungary that was jewelry?
The jewelry that was in Germany that time.
I see.
It was traveling in Germany, and they wanted to send that one to Switzerland too.
How do you know this, Gizella? How do you know this for sure?
I'm not the only one who knows about it.
I see. So this is common knowledge among people who follow where the gold goes?
Yes.
I see.
So now in 2000, I could look up because I have some documentation. They made a conference about the gold train, and they decided they're going to divide this gold train between the Holocaust survivors from Hungary.
Oh.
It was a conference in the city hall. I went to that conference. There was a lawyer who was dealing with that one. That lawyer's name is Sam Dubin. He's from Florida. I went to the conference there, and I told my friends, I said, from this gold train, nothing is going to happen, because they're going to steal it too, the way they stole the Swiss money. So anyway, but while I was there, for somebody who was very knowledgeable, I asked him, what's happening with the gold bars and the Federal Reserve thing? So he told me that's gone. I said, it's gone? How did it go by itself?
2.5 million, two tons, wow.
You believe this? So I'm sure they took, so who was the main person who did all these things? It was Dr. Israel Singer from the World Jewish Congress. I have documents where I fighted with him in the State Department. I have documents I fighted with him the first time when there was a luncheon for the Holocaust people, supposedly. And I have him in too many places. Now he resigned. The whole World Jewish Congress was established not for our purpose and for our benefit, but to make money. That's the whole thing of the game, and they should have jobs.
Well, you know, Gizella, it's not just your situation. All over the world, they do terrible things for making money.
Yes.
You know, it happens everywhere.
Yes. So listen, let me tell you with the Hasidic people what's my problem.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm very concerned about this.
Yeah, no.
I have many Jewish friends, and some of them are coming over, and they're starting to say they're very scared. And these aren't Hasidic. These aren't Orthodox that you can tell.
Yes.
These are just regular Jewish people.
So why I'm doing this, I think somebody has to look into to save this country.
Yeah, that I agree with.
You agree? So
yes.
That's why I'm fighting.
Yes.
But if you leave it like this, it's going to disintegrate, and my children have no future here.
Yes, yes, yes. That's not just Hasidic and Jewish. That's everybody. It's everybody.
Let me tell you what's the problem here.
Okay, okay.
I'm Mr. Janet is going to tell you because I gave him a book with my story. I'm from a town called Sighet, that's in Romania. That's in the near the Carpathian Mountains.
Okay.
I was born there. My family, my mother is from that city, and she had 7 generations. I have documentation, but that were rabbis in that town.
Okay.
In the same town, it was always a very, my great-grandfather, it was really run down the town when he built it up again. But in his family, there was nobody who wanted to follow in his footsteps. They didn't want to be rabbis because they were wealthy merchants.
Right.
So then it came there. It's a whole story, that too. And I'll tell you what I'm telling you.
I heard your story with Harold Channer. It's very interesting how your father would go to Switzerland, and then there would be fellow merchants, and how they would work out putting the deposits. It was.
Yes,
It's a long story, and it's a good story.
I will make up the story, but listen to this. So then, and my city, my great-grandfather, he didn't want to be a rabbi, so then this came the Teichelbaum family, and he led them in to be rabbis in my city.
Can I ask you if you're Ashkenazi or Sephardic?
I'm Ashkenazi.
I see, okay.
Because the Sephardic are from the Middle East.
I see, okay.
That's a different belief.
And in your community of Ashkenazi, was there a longing to go to Israel and to live in Palestine?
Listen, the thing is this. There was a lot of controversy that time because the Zionists established and they took the youngsters and some of them went to Israel. I had an uncle who went to Israel in 1935. He survived there. But my father, they told me he had a visa to go to Israel because his rabbi went to Israel too beforehand and he helped them escape. But my mother didn't want to go. She didn't want to leave her parents. She didn't want to leave the family. So anyway, like this he would have survived. But usual like this, just to go to Israel and build it and do things that against our beliefs and what was told to us in the Bible, that we don't do.
So what you're saying, even though you're from a merchant family, you were following the Torah with your rabbis or your teachers?
Exactly.
I see.
Yes.
So would you call yourself excessively religious or medium religious?
I'm religious the way I saw in my home, at home before the war.
I see.
I had many opportunities to get away from this because people really hurt me, some of my people.
Oh, so what you're telling me is you stayed faithful to your practices, like lighting the candles on Friday and...
That's the less what we do, but there is other things we do.
I know.
Not all the Orthodox Jews are doing.
Well, see, here's what I'm interested in, Gizella. You said when you were a girl, say 11, 12 years old, you would go to your friend's house and you would see that they were not as financially secure as your household was. So to me, a spiritual or religious practice can make people mindful and kind of careful, you know, whatever the religion might be. Do you have any, but then what happens is the people who are kind of not following or not so mindful or not so careful, they become jealous of the others and then they want to just quickly take away the wealth. And I think you were talking about hiding the money into the roof in the attic, and then later on the soldiers come along and they, you know, that was money that your family built up over a lot of years. But then when there comes to be a big difference, like right now, again I'm coming back to New York City, Hasidic landlords are owning buildings that regular people, not Hasidic, can't pay the rent. And then they blame them because they're Jewish.
Yes.
That's my worry about your story.
I want to come to this story.
Okay.
Yes. Listen, I have a professor who's from the same city where I came. Matter of fact, Gizella is also from the same city. I didn't know him before the war because he is a little bit older than I am, and he lived in a different part of the city. So, and anyway, he survived not alone. He had two sisters who survived. So, but it was very interesting. This I have to tell you. One person who knew me after I came home after the war, and when he found out that I filed the lawsuit against the Swiss bank, he says, "How is this coming? She hardly could talk after the war, and now she's filing a lawsuit against Switzerland."
Yeah, I mean...
But you know why? I came home alone. I had nobody, and nobody would listen to me because I didn't have a voice or something. So what hurt me the most? After I filed the lawsuit with the Swiss case, how it came along, maybe it's written down everything. I didn't read the whole chapter.
Well, where, Gizella, did you get the courage to file a lawsuit? Did you see this in your family? Because it's a very scary thing to go get a lawyer and file a lawsuit.
It came by change, but everything is coming by change. I had this lawyer in disputes with the rabbis.
Really?
So, yeah, I was reading this paper. He comes over and he sees me reading this. He said, "Why are you reading this?" I told him, because my father had money in the Swiss banks. As a matter of fact, I was already there 3 times in Switzerland, and I was always asking about this money. But I figured...
You know, for a Swiss bank account, you have to have a special number. Did you have the special number to get...
I probably had the special number. When I found the money, the dollars and the gold coins, I had pieces of paper with numbers. But I became engaged not long afterwards, and I gave everything over to my husband in a small bag. And he just didn't care about this numbers business.
Really?
What I had, but none of them had, that when the picture for my family went all over the world on television, a man came and he gave me, and I have an affidavit from him, that how he took money from the Swiss bank and he did business with my father.
Oh.
Yeah, and nobody else has this. You know, the people who, there was a woman by the name of Estelle Sapir. She settled. She has no business. She has nothing to prove it. They make up stories that didn't exist. Now, what I want to do from you, and I asked Mr. Chandler that I want to have another interview. Not only this, that I find the money, and that's why I have even pictures. Who had money to make pictures that time from my wedding?
Oh, you mean to say when you were married, not many people had enough money to have photographs of their wedding?
No, because you know what kind of job they had to bring. The photographers had to bring a stand with a black thing on his head.
Right.
It wasn't a camera that you could take a picture that time.
Right.
It's over 60 years.
Yes. I understand.
Yeah, and besides this, I had my own dress that I made. The dress was $49 that time, but in that dress, all the 33 brides got married.
Wow.
Yeah, because these things just weren't there. Not only this, there was no material for a dress. They had to bring it from another city.
What year was this when you got married?
46.
46. I see.
Yeah. So, anyway, what hurt me? So, Mr. Fagan filed the lawsuit for me. I told him, I'm going to bring you documents. So I bring him the documents, what I had, because I filed with the Swiss a request. They had an ombudsman who was looking for people who had money before the war. And I filed with him a few months before. I took to him the documents. In 3 days he had the whole case ready. And then he filed it. He became the hero from the whole world. So everybody came to him now. All the lawyers, first of all, came the Wiesenthal Centers from Los Angeles. They supposed to hunt the Nazis. They never found any Nazis, but they had 2 rabbis there who have very nice wages. There was a rabbi by the name of Marvin Heath. His wages was a couple of years back, $445,000.
Well, you know, there's a lot of question today who really the Nazis are. It's a lot of question.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So, they all came and they tried to push me out, to upstage me, that they are the one who filed the lawsuit. So first of all, they prepared documents and they charged $132,000 for the documents preparation. I did it for nothing. Then I worked for 8 months, and I have some timesheet. I didn't count when I went, where I went for interviews. I didn't count traveling, nothing. Only what I worked at Fagan's office. My children used to go out in the synagogue in all places, applications. There is my name on the application. And then they filled it out, and I used to take it to Fagan's office. And that time he didn't have a computer set up, and I used to file it by hand. really helped everybody. I had calls from all over the world. I called them back. I traveled, when I needed.
Did your family teach you to be this way? Was your father this way? Was he helping people in the community and educated?
We were very helpful to that's the part of the religion.
Right.
Yeah, but he didn't teach me how to do street bank case with court cases.
Yeah.
But I didn't believe that the system is so corrupt and that
no,
they
but
are manipulating the whole system.
No, but what I mean is he gave you the courage to try, just to try. And then when you try, you can attract to you people who will help.
Yeah.
But you have to start.
And now, I'm telling you, I don't trust them. And so I used to go to the prostate people. They told me about them. I started to go maybe 9 years ago on the Manhattan Neighborhood Network.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
With Dean Lauren. Do you know I met you a long time ago because...
Dean, at least also about 8 years. But
Yeah.
there was, I don't know if you know him, Irving Eisenstadt.
Who?
Irving Eisenstadt.
Oh, Irving Eisenstadt. I don't know him. I only know Dean Lauren.
Yeah, and there used to be many people, and I'm telling you, I'm going there since about 9 years already.
Very persistent, Gizella.
And there I learned a little bit to defend myself, pro se, by myself. And so then I find out how the lawyers used me for their own purposes, and they sold me out.
Right.
So the thing is this: I had the rabbi, the last rabbi who passed away, the Satmar rabbi, Moses Teichenbaum. I had with him problems. I knew him from after the war when I went home to my city, and I think my father didn't like him before the war. That's my opinion. But after the war, he didn't do nothing. We came home. I lived, before I found the money, I lived with my friends. We lived seven girls together.
Now, where did you find the money?
What?
You said before you found the money?
I came home. I had to look for that money.
Oh, in the attic that was pushed away?
What?
Which money did you mean?
The golds and the dollars that I found hidden in our house.
In Romania?
In Romania.
Okay. So now you have money and you're an important person because generally people in this regular society only respect money.
I'm telling you, so listen to this.
Yeah.
When I came home, before we were deported, I helped my father hide the silverware that we used in the house. And this I knew where he hid it. And when I came home, I took this out. There were 2 balls of material. There were some sewing thread. And I sold that, and I survived. I needed money to survive. There was nobody to help me.
Right.
And the rabbi who was there, he just didn't care. There were another cities people who tried to help the survivors, especially the girls by themselves, but he didn't care for us.
Wow.
And I knew him from before the war, and I had a very
low opinion.
I didn't think too much about it.
Yeah, right.
But when I found the money, the golds and the dollars, and then I left the city, and he found out about it. He was angry at me because he wanted a part of the money too.
I see. He knew there was money there.
He didn't know. I had a friend who from the same city, and she told me that her father hid the money too in a bunker, they called it.
Right.
But the teacher who helped her father hide the money, he came home, and he went with the rabbi together, and they opened the bunker, and they took everything out. And she came home, there was nothing left.
Ah, I see.
So but what got me angry, they made me problems a lot with a divorce about 27 or 28 years ago. And I went to the rabbi, and they threw me out from the house, and I was very angry at him. filed the lawsuit, he comes along and he files a lawsuit that he has money also in Switzerland. And that's why they tried to ignore me. And how they did to me, and when I filed the lawsuit, it's unbelievable. I just want somebody should look into it.
Now, just a second, let me understand. You filed a lawsuit because you know that your father had money in Swiss banks.
Yes.
Because that's how he did business. He went from one country to another, he bought goods, he needed the Swiss bank. Now, this other rabbi, did he have a Swiss bank account also?
No, I'm telling you, this rabbi, they made up a false claim.
I see, a false, yeah, well, that's...
But
yeah.
they had very, I mean, he had a lawyer, and that lawyer came to work to us, to Mr. Fagan. And I talked for Fagan right away, I don't like this guy, he's a spy. Sure enough, he took from the applications 500, and he established his own organization, claiming also Swiss account.
I see.
Yes.
I
but
see.
Anyway, to this day, I don't know. And then they tried to get me out from the case. They made false documentation. It's so much false things what they did. Forged document. They forged the document, and I have to prove it. So this guy supposedly went to the settlement too. I didn't have a representative, but he hired another lawyer. I don't know why. That lawyer only did something to remove me from the case. And that lawyer received $1.5 million for his efforts. This one, $500,000. And how much the rabbi received in Switzerland, I don't know, because he has an account there with $50 million.
Wow.
I'm telling you, and nobody else is. So why I started to speak up, so they threw me out from the congregation. My husband was a member for 43 years, and they threw him out. My husband is a student of the previous rabbi. He was one of the pallbearers, and my father came from the same city, Satmar, that you ever heard. I mean, I know the whole story, everything. I could prove it, some with documentation too, but they just hurt me because they wanted us to shut up and not claim otherwise. So when I filed lawsuit, you would believe it. I did it in 99 on my own. I put together a document for 250 pages with documents, and I filed it in court the same day when I filed the George Northern. When I went to a writ of mandamus, they told me, I was learning that time, they put in forged papers and not my original thing, and they ruled on a different index number. It's such a scam what's going on in this court, and I have proof that this rabbi was buying the Georges.
No, we, you know, Dean Lauren was the one who opened my eyes up about the corruption in the court. But in order for you to find the kind of friends or help, I'm thinking I have about close to 800 subscribers on the internet, and maybe when I post this, some people might have some ideas. But I want to introduce to you an idea. I know you're not on the internet now, but what I'm showing is a picture of a DVD that I sell, and it's called 9/11 TV Fakery. And it's a collection of what's called mashups, where they take different images from the television sets of what people saw during 9/11, showing that what went into the buildings were cartoons. There were not real airplanes that went into the buildings, but the whole country was hypnotized in order to go to war. So I don't know, do you find...
Oh, that I wouldn't agree.
Well, what...
I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I just threw it out 2 weeks ago. My late son, used. And just when 9/11 happened, a friend of mine, she called me up, she says, you know what, to put in the television because they are bombarding the Twin Towers, I put it on just when the airplane went into the building. And I saw this on the television.
No, that's exactly my point, Gizella. You saw it on television.
Yeah.
You saw it on television. That the television, I can show you this. This is 7 years of research that people have done. It's not something easy, and I'm only introducing the idea to you now because you are seeking justice for your case. Your father put money into a Swiss bank account. You had to go through Auschwitz, and instead of getting reparations to say, I'm sorry from the Swiss, you don't even get back the money that your father put in. Am I correct?
Yes.
So what I'm just suggesting is, how do we work together and with the community in the world today who is very, very worried, to say the least, about the security of the entire world. It seems as though we're in the hands right now of weapons manufacturers who want to influence us to go to war when people, as their natural proclivity is not to send their boys off to have these horrible weapons to hurt other cultures. And even in your own Hasidic community, you are becoming a problem to them because they don't even want to think about the Holocaust in World War II. They don't even want to think about it. And because people don't want to think about these things, it's like the poison comes up to us and it comes in a different form. So what I'm suggesting is that what happened during 9/11, it may be a lot more dangerous and awful and corrupt than just this missing gold at the base of the tower and Hillary Clinton using it, if that's the case. And what I'm saying is there are people, and I will put it out, maybe they have some ideas, because I know with Dean becomes very discouraged. He says the system is so corrupt, he wants to give up. And meanwhile, the 9/11 Truth Movement, who's looking for truth, they're innocent, and they don't know how corrupt the system is, and they think they can get a reinvestigation, and everything will go better. But I'm thinking it will only go better if we work together as human beings.
Yeah.
That's my suggestion.
That's true. So let me tell you, I was jumping from one thing to another. I had a professor who was a professor of Talmud from my city. His name was David Halivni Weiss. He was a professor in Columbia. First, he was, for 20 years, he was the rabbi in the Jewish Theological Seminar. And then he left and he became a professor in Columbia for many years. He is now in Israel. So when I presented to him and I showed him some of the rabbinical decisions he wasn't surprised. He knew they were corrupt. And he told me like this, he said, some of the Jews, they came from different cities, and not all of them were taught like I was taught or somebody else.
Right.
They came here and they started to collect money wherever they can.
Right,
from
right.
welfare, from this and that. I had even, that we know we were in a displaced camp after the war in Austria, and we came here by numbers, but he let in people, President Truman that time, displaced persons. We came with American ships. They used to take the provisions for the soldiers to Europe, and then we came back with the same ships.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, he told me they took money, they collected money wherever they can. When they couldn't do any more, they started to rip off Gentile people, what they could do with rents, with this, with that. They became landlords, everything. And when it didn't work, they didn't have enough, they started to steal from Jewish people too. And that's a big sin, because according to the Ten Commandments, they cannot do it. And that's exactly what they did with me.
But the world is going crazy right now. Everybody's stealing from everyone. They're not telling the truth. They make...
So let me tell you, there is in the Bible, I mean, there was a Jewish commentator, how should I say it, by the name of Rashi. Jewish judges and the rabbis are going to falsify the Ten Commandments and not rule according to the Jewish law, there is going to be war in this world, and they're going to destroy everything. He made once, on this, I gave him this saying, Wilbur, you know Wilbur? But M&N.
Wilbur? No, I don't know Wilbur.
He's a very black man, and he's a pastor, too.
Oh, Willie. Willie, we call him, yeah. Yeah, I like him very much.
Yeah, he made a documentary on but I gave him this quotation from the Bible.
Oh, that's nice.
And that's the truth. You cannot change it, because there is in the Jewish and the Hasidic community also a lot of people going and gone. And I'm telling you, I'm about now with a mortgage. They took out almost $5 million on my property.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm fighting this. And but what I would like, what I'm telling you, what I would like, and I was thinking to speak.
Are you saying that you took out a mortgage of
Not me. I had a partner. He took out on my property, and just recently I find out they had three lawsuits, and they went to the rabbi to settlement with them, and I didn't know anything.
Wow.
And now it's gone. Everything is gone. So, and there is who is involved there? It's involved Clinton.
Really?
Yes. And I'm going to produce, if somebody's interested, I'm going to produce all the documents and show how it's involved. Now, there is another thing. But I told you when I came home, I found the silverware and everything. I'm still using the silverware. And some of them...
The silver what? The silver what?
Silverware that we used at home.
I don't understand.
There were silver things that we used, the religious things like candlesticks.
Oh, right. The menorah, like that?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Before the war. And I know somebody had a big article in our newspaper. I have it someplace. She found her cup that her father used, the silver cup. I have many other things. The only thing that they ever showed on the television is in Denmark. They made a documentary of me years back when I had the lawsuit, and they showed my father's gold watch, and it's really very nice. But none of them showed it here.
Wow.
And now I would like to show the silverware, because there are some things that nobody else has in Europe, and it could only be bought by wealthy people.
Right, right, right.
So to prove it that I don't make up the story, while I have, and you see in my book,
right.
I went recently to see some of the, they call it Yiskor books from before the war.
Well, why don't you bring some of those photographs to MNN and we'll do a show in the studio.
Oh, this I was thinking I'm going to do now.
Yeah, we'll do that.
And show them the silverware and what I found. And I have even somebody steal from me something, and I know who. But I have enough to prove it.
Okay. Okay, well, we have to come to a close now.
Yes.
But I really appreciate you calling in, and I'm sure Harold will call afterwards.
Yes.
And we can talk a little bit together and then make a plan to come into the studio at MNN.
Yes.
Is that a good idea?
All right, that's fine.
Okay, so just
I'm going to be there Thursday now on the show.
Oh, okay. Maybe I can do something on Thursday. Yes. Let me look at my schedule, okay?
Yes. All right, whatever you decide, you could call me.
Okay.
But I'm telling you, there is more to it that nobody... And you believe this? I prepare documents, and I file it in the Second Circuit, in the appeal court, and they stamp it for me, and they send me back the originals because they didn't want it should be there.
Yeah, I can believe that.
You believe that?
No, I've seen a lot of things.
There is sometimes they address me as a lawyer from the Second Circuit. And I told them, always But sometimes they make fun of me because I cannot present without a lawyer pro se all this evidence.
No, I know.
So why not?
I know.
We have to pay money for the corrupt lawyers, and they're making deals with the judges.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just try to get some people who are interested of saving this country, because if it's going to go on like this, it's very sad.
No, that's true. That's why I'm saying, of all religions and all cultures and all spiritual practices, we need to come together and dig into our souls to find that part of us that is the most trusting and to take a risk with somebody, that they'll be good to us if we're good to them. First, we have to come forward with our faith and our confidence, and then we have to be alert and sharp. We don't want to be fooled and deceived, but we have to start first to say, this is the good way to go. I'm not trying to take something away from someone. I'm not trying to say that my father's rabbi was bad, or this guy is stealing, or Clinton or Hillary, but we have to be careful, but we have to be correct. Yeah. Okay, great. I really look forward to meeting you at M&M.
All right, thank you.
Okay, bye. And say hello to your grandson.
Yes, all right.
Okay, bye. Whew. So, there we go. Another day in the life of the rabbit hole here. Hello?
Ain't she great, huh?
Yeah.
Turn off my thing. That was really good. I was watching it on the side of my ear. No,
yeah.
Out of the side of my head. Out of the side of my eye.
Right.
And it was really good doing other stuff. I heard you say Harold may call in here. Here's Harold calling.
Right.
And I love Gizella. She's wonderful and everything. And one of the things I wanted to say is that I'm just calling now because while you were talking with her, I was in touch and promised to call back about 1:15 to Sue Ann Campbell, who is the carrier of the events down in Austin, Texas.
Oh.
And telling her that, and I'm putting together a note. I want to get your suggestion too also, because this has to do with the ACAP thing. We were having a talk with her about the situation there, and I'm going to mail to her the DVD copy of the program that we have up on YouTube. I made a DVD of that, plus the meeting we had, 3 people's meeting talking about public access as part of the organizing community. But I'm thinking I ought to see correspondences going on with the ACAP people. We share correspondence among the people in the committee, but I think it would be good to have it available to anybody who wants to try and follow what's going on there. To people who aren't on the committee who don't get the correspondence. That's something that is on my mind. But I have to call her back about 1:15.
Well, that's really exciting, Harold. I wasn't able to post our show yesterday because I'm still experimenting with those bigger files.
Yeah, I am too. I did another one, and I got it, and I did it, and I want to get John over here because I did it delivered after you and I spoke. I did it with a new program rather than something that I had file because I don't. They're already all up on YouTube in the traditional way, and I did it with a new program, and I did it at what was 512 or so. A thing is, I could try to find a different setting within the compression program, and I'm not sure that it worked right because it isn't any better. In fact, it might be a little worse than what it was before. So that bit rate has to be set on my compression program. I've learned that, and I think John can do it in about 20 seconds. But as I understand it, I'm going to put it in this notice I'm sending off to the committee, the organizing committee. Josh has joined, and George Soterelis and Dean Lauren have.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're now members of the organizing committee. Most people don't want to be bothered with it because they don't think there's much to it. It's just, but it's going to become a major.
Oh, I love those guys. Maybe I'll come over just for the party.
Well, it's not a party; it's an organizing committee. If you
I
want
know.
to join, you can. But people,
No, I know.
asked you, you didn't want to.
No,
people
I know.
are busy doing their own things and everything. But I think it's
No, I didn't want so much of that Robert's Rules of Order kind of stuff, you know.
Now that's John. John Steinmetz is pushing that very, very well. And he put together such a beautiful package. He had it all very carefully done, and it would be how do you conduct a meeting, how do you anticipate an amendment, how do you get a proxy fight taken care of, and how do you deal with Robert's Rules and what's the order, and all of that, which is characteristic of any successful organization, has to have that, but we're formative, and we're at a point where we have to get the principles right first, in my view. So that clashes with John, who wants to set up a program, and he's been successfully involved in a successful group of people in America. And there's something unique about public access.
What's the
level of principles.
What's the successful group in America that he's been involved with that has to do with?
He's major. He was ABC, a major television network, and he was one of only, I think, 6 directors that were designated as directors in the National Directors Guild of establishment television. And
yeah,
when you're doing that, he's the director. He's like Toscanini.
Yeah, but I saw what he put on the internet. He had no